Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Whiskey Wednesday night here on the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I am Jason C. What is going on tonight? We have a lot to talk about, and we are going to definitely be talking about a lot, including the year that's the year in whiskey so far for 2024. What's been happening? Some of the some of the highlights, some of the lowlights. Also, we'll go through some bottles that that released this year that to take note of. Just kind of do a little bit of a rundown so far in the since we're halfway through the year, pretty much for 2024 here. It's still a lot more to come out as we get into. There's already some big releases that I haven't gotten my hands on yet that are hitting the market, including the Wild Turkey Triumph, Little Book, and a few others that I think that are making their way around. As we get closer to fall, which is really the big release time for for bourbon and American whiskey. So yeah, I recently just got my hands on this beauty, the Old Fitz 13. I told you I was trying really hard to get this bottle, and I was able to make a trade for it. So I was able to do a trade a couple bottles for this, and I'm glad I did. This has been just off the sample, probably one of my favorite releases so far this year. But we do have a couple blind tastings tonight, which will be a lot of fun. Basically, I took my top 5 bourbons and my top 5 ryes of the year so far, and just threw them in some quick blind tastings that we can, go through and see which one ends up winning out. Should be a pretty fun time. On top of that, we have a couple new bottles we're going to be trying tonight, including the brand new Booker's number 2 for 2024. This one is named the Beam House batch, which I'm sure has a story about the family lineage and everybody going to the Beam House for good drinks, good fun, and I'm sure Booker whipping out his country hams and pouring everybody a glass of his uncut, unfiltered bourbon. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But first and foremost, as always, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. I'll put that up there. So let's see here. Here we go. First and foremost, EJ, you're still in Hawaii, man? That's awesome. Giselle says, cheer, Jason Seattle, watching the NBA playoffs tonight and lurking in the chat. Have a great live stream, buddy. Yeah, Giselle's keep me posted on the game. Who's winning? Whiskey Wednesday, what's up? Joey B is here. We got Big Vic in the house. Sandeep Chima is here. Nice to see you, Sandeep, as always. T. Jarrett is in the house. We have Ham Turkey. Said solid year for the typically more final releases. Booker's, Green River, James E. Pepper, Overholt 10, that level of stuff. I couldn't agree more. Ham Turkey, I think we've seen a lot of great smaller releases, but again, we'll go through all that stuff. Justin Jenkins is here. What's going on, Justin? Tim, looking gorgeous as usual. Nice to see you, Tim. Nathan Jurgensen is here. Josh Fritz. We have Russ L. We have Silent Todd is here. He says that Booker's 24 OT is my favorite from the last 6, I believe. Really? Okay. That's some high praise right there. We got Jeff Perkins right here. We got Whiskey Juice. We got A-Brod. 96 Milliman. We got Mark. May the Schwartz be with you. We got Tim Cornet here. Michael Speakerman is here. Dr. Sped. He's trying the new Little Book 8 tonight, which I got one on the way, so hopefully you'll see a review of that early next week, guys. Whiskey Juice finally named me a Ben Holly 6-year soft red wheat Rickhouse proof. Damn, those things are really good. Stephen Walt, Joe Chapman. Yeah, we'll touch on a few kind of newer brands that really kind of fell in love with this year too, so that would be fun. HHH 18. Is that the Heaven Hill Heritage 18? Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that one this year. I thought it was really good, but I didn't think it was great. But that was me. EJ is here. I think I said hi to EJ. Silent Todd in the house. I think we said hi to him too. Jerry Hernandez, what's going on, baby? He says, cheers, y'all. Jerry Hernandez here. Isaac Camacho, Andrew Bergston. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. 2024 has been all about picks for me so far. I'm probably right there with you, Andrew. Mike Conklin in the house. I was just sipping on that Manifest. Great bottle. Bradley Walden says, cheers, fam. What's going on, man? Let's see. 4 Leaf Whiskey is here. What is going on? Here to see if an Irish whiskey made the cut. No, but I will tell you, Stacy, I did get to try the newest Dare Gaelic Tree Number 2. I always I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but it was Tree 2, and it's the bottle with the rabbit on it. And I want to find a bottle that's so bad. I just haven't been able to find Tree 2 around. Everyone seems to have 5 or 4, at least locally. So if you see a Tree 2 anywhere, let me know. The problem is also is that bottle's gone way up in price, but it's probably one of the best whiskeys, at least Irish whiskeys or overall whiskeys I've had this year. Especially that, I don't know if there's a huge variance, Stacey, you could probably tell me, but that Tree 2 was ridiculously good. So Larry 3R is here. Cheech Ardolino, thank you so much, Cheech. Michael S. Whiskey Dirge is here. All you wonderful whiskey people. We have Carlos, the Urban Bourbon Cowboy, in the house. What's up, Carlos? Love that photo. Don Prince is here. Ben Drammond in the house. I know he's excited. We're releasing our Jack Daniel's single barrel Mash and Journey pick this week. So yeah, hell yeah, can't wait. 22-inch or 24-inch bass drum. For me, 24. I like the bigger kick. Starting with Smoked Old Fashioned Makers 46. Really trying to get that new little book. It's up there for my most desired this year. I've heard good things for the most part. Thoughts on A124, Andy Schneider, Go Yanks. Oh, he killed it with the Go Yanks. I don't know. We'll talk a little bit. I'm going to take the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I don't think I've ever seen a more polarizing batch of Elijah Craig in a long time. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof since this B524. I thought it was a very mediocre barrel. Not mediocre. I'll say it was a very solid batch of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I just thought it was on par. It's what I expect. A little bit on the spicy side, but nothing that, I don't know. I feel like there's some folks saying it's one of the greatest batches ever, and I just don't get that. And unless we have a laser code problem again. I couldn't help it. Big Vic, what's up, man? Paul P. Thanks for the update, Giselle's. Kevin Zachary, and a bunch of all people coming in here. Okay. Oh, let me turn my phone off. That's very unprofessional. Okay. Turn that off. We'll test. I want to test that B524 against C923 from last year and also C919, which C919 for me came in a close second. Or was it first to C923 when I did the whole blind? But I really liked C919 a lot. So those two, and we'll see how it fares. We'll see, is it better than I thought it? Is it better? Is it actually better than I think it is? The B524? I guess we'll see. So we'll do, C922 is really good too. Yeah. I personally wasn't a big fan of ECBP A124. I thought it was solid. The thing that I'm finding lately in the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof batches is that they're lacking a little bit of sweetness, which is interesting because sweetness isn't always my whole thing. I do like spice, but I like sweet and spice to balance it out. But when I smell like immediate like peanut and Cracker Jack on a nose of Heaven Hill or a nose of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, it doesn't. I already thinking going in, this is going to be kind of the standard batch. Now, when I nose an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and I'm getting dark fruit and I'm getting some rich oak or some like elevated sweetness, like the B5, like the B523 last year was like a butterscotch. Oh no, that wasn't last year. It was the year before. The B522, I think, was the butterscotch bomb. I don't know, but when I smell stuff like that, like that's what just like I can't wait to get in there. And just the last A124 and B524 have been kind of along the same. I think B524 is a little bit of definitely an elevated experience for sure. But I don't know, there was nothing about it that like made it super special to me at all. So yeah, all the C's. I mean, I'm a C batch guy for sure. I love the C batches. Aside from that B522, I think, which was the butterscotch bomb, that one I absolutely adored. Pursuit United Double Oaked drinking tonight, phenomenal. Yeah, Murphy's Red, that is, talk about a butterscotch bomb. Or actually, not even butterscotch. It's more like vanilla cake. Tastes like birthday cake. It smells like it. Do you not like peanut at all in your bourbons? I don't mind the peanut note, but I want other flavors besides that. Speaking of peanut note, let's get into the Bookers. What Russell barrel should I get this weekend? Oh, we'll get into that. Okay, so let's dive right in, guys. A couple of you already told me what you're sipping on already in the chat. So we're going to start off with a little bit of Booker's 2024-02. Brand new. Let me throw this here in the bottle cam, and you guys can check this out. So here we go. Here is Booker's. The most I would pay for a bottle of Little Book without seeing it, without tasting it first, would be retail. Just because I've been burned on a lot of Little Books. Last year's was very good. This year's is definitely more rye heavy, so we'll see how that one goes. Henry Turner, what's up, man? So here is the Booker's. There is the close-up, and as you can see, that's a picture of the Beam House batch. That's why it's called that. And here are the stats: 124.6, 7 years, 2 months, and 22 days old. So we've been seeing this nice trend of most Booker's batches here getting into that 7-year mark. Now you wonder, is that because Jim Beam has a couple million, 2.5 million barrels aging right now? Is this a product of just they have so many Booker's barrels aging, they can afford to have it age up a little bit more? Is it a product of people buying less Bookers, so there's more barrels sitting around? I don't know. It's interesting to see why all of a sudden we went from a mid-6-year all the way to a 7. So ECBP may need to drop back to max 2 releases a year, says Gus the Fuss. Hopefully the ECBP 924 is at least 12 years plus. We'll see. All right. Batch story real quick. So you guys, Booker's always comes with one of these fun little batch stories. He tells you the whole story of the batch. I'm not going to read the whole thing, guys, but I'll get into, let's see. This batch is named after my family's home. There you go. A real special place full of beginnings, traditions, and memories. And just for me, but for everyone at Beam. Not just for me, but everyone at Beam. I grew up just around the corner. Okay. We've always, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 different locations that the barrels came from in this batch. And I'll show this to you guys real quick again. So if you could see, this camera is pretty good at getting up close. So there you go. 14%, 20, 14, 18, 25, or 19, 25. 7-story warehouses. There you go. And then that last one is a 9-story warehouse. So there you go. So that is the makeup. Yeah, JG, seriously, I got to get my readers for this text. It's like 4-point text. I've been saying in my videos, can we make these cards a little bit bigger, Beam? I'm like, I can't see shit. Jason, have you tried the Angels Envy bottled and bond? I have not. I have not tried that one yet. Unfortunately, that bottle is only going to be available in Kentucky. So unless someone in Kentucky grabs me one, I probably won't see that bottle. Hopefully there's some hanging around by the next time I get to Kentucky. So we'll see. What's up, Tommy D? Tommy D's here. All right. Cheers to all. JC rocks and occasionally rolls. What's up, Top Jimmy? Yeah, I do roll sometimes. Wait until you hit age 50. Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's get into the nose here, guys. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. This should be a fun night. Talk about a lot of different whiskeys and just chance to answer a bunch of questions tonight. So let's get into it here. Picking up my Bookers and Little Book in a couple days, says Megan and Liam Stone. I'll say this, the nose on this is actually pretty fantastic. This gives me more candy apple vibes versus the peanuts driven Bookers that I normally that you normally taste or smell. What's up, Lance? Man, candy apple, vanilla cream, toasted oak, a little bit of barrel char. Oh, I love the Balboa rye, Tyler, for sure. I love that stuff. It smells a lot sweeter here. It's not overly smoky. It doesn't have a super smoky. Sometimes you get a lot of barrel char and Bookers. I'm not really getting that here. This is leaning more towards sweet. I'll even go as far to say it's a little bit fruit forward. Just a tad. All right, let's give it a try, guys. Here we go. New Bookers. So I get a little bit more of the peanut on the palate for sure. That general beaminess that it has. Really nice balance of flavors there. That was only my second pour of the night, so it just like blew up my palate. My control pour was a 100 proof. Was the 100 proof? Not even 100 proof. It was the Jim Beam 7-year. That was my control pour tonight. I'm glad you put 1924 in the lineup. I am in the minority who loves it. Let's see where it ends up. Yeah, it's going to be in the blind tonight. I feel like it's still a notable release this year, so we'll see where it goes. JG, success with Cedar Ridge and I met Murphy. I will send an email. Come on, details whiskey chair. Hell yeah, JG. Thanks so much, man. Randall Erickson, let's hit 100K in 2024. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, let me put up the let me throw up the ticker here. A little news ticker that I like to run on the bottom of the screen. Man, apples, honey. This is getting a lot more honey forward to me now as it opens up here. Again, this is a first pour, guys. So it's a little toy, like a toiga. Little toy. That's right, Austin Powers. I need to watch that movie again. I love that damn movie. This is good. This is a good batch right now. It's sweet. It's a little bit fruit forward. Again, more of that apple note to it. Candy apple. Actually, caramel apple, I should say. That's probably a better way to describe it. Caramel apple, honey, a little bit of that kind of like that honey roasted peanut aspect that it's got. Great proof point, good spice. Damn. I mean, Booker's, when you put it in a blind against other whiskeys that are older, the youthfulness definitely shows through. However, this one has a really nice profile to it. I would imagine that would happen with this one as well. It doesn't, there's no like real, anytime I get apple, I can usually gauge it's probably a little bit of a younger whiskey. So I'm getting a lot of like caramel apple here. But this is really nice. Going to a Westward tasting tomorrow. Familiar with their stuff, Brett Tanica? Yeah, Westward has good stuff. Obviously, I like their cast strength stuff more than their general releases. But yeah, if you could try to get their cast strength stuff, that's the good stuff. Silent Toss says 2024-01 was terrible to me. 2024-01 I liked. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was great either. I don't know. I don't know if we've hit a specific amazing batch. When we did Booker's Night a week or two ago, those two same batches, the Country Ham and the Sip a While, really kind of stood out. And the Springfield batch did a little bit better than I thought, but again, was still kind of in that lower tier. So I'm also starting to pick up a little bit of a floral note in here, which is interesting. But this is very sweet, very bright, a little citrusy too now, coming through with the caramel apple. It's a nice little batch. I don't know if it blows me. I will say it's different than what you were thinking of typical Bookers. I'm kind of digging this one. Sounds like one of the very few that I'd actually enjoy. Still don't regret passing on it today, though. It's good. Again, like for something like this, I still wish it was $60, $70 the most. There's not a ton of depth to it, but I will say if you like a little bit more of a fruit forward, I just wish it had that fruit forwardness, but it was just darker, like way more rich brown sugars and oak to offset the caramel apple and the vanilla, but it kind of stays bright and sweet rather than getting to that darker place to really balance it all out. But a solid batch. For me, quick, a little bit of a quick review. I'd probably give this one a try before you buy. If you can. The thing about Booker's, though, is that people still bottle these. They still grab them. They still, these still sell pretty well. And judging by whenever I do a review for Booker's, it still gets a ton of views. So people still love Booker's. I don't care what anybody says. People still love it. So, all right, we'll put that one aside. Get me a little bit of water here, and let's pull out the ECBP. Let's get into this comparison. Jason, new Booker's 90 or new ECBP? I would still go ECBP all day for sure. Let's see here. I'm a Booker's fan. Blend 2401 and 2402. I'm just saying. Do I have 2401 near me? I don't think I have it near. But I'll try that. I'll try that one. Thanks, Vic. I'd always have a soft spot for Booker's, even Apprentice. No, you cannot sell me on Apprentice. That was one of the worst batches they ever released. That thing was terrible. I stood in line to get my Booker's and pass on the ECBP. That's not, it's not awful. People taking our tour tour guide is saying that ECBP C923 was a spite batch. Okay. The Master Drum, is it me or does Booker's taste younger than JS, single barrel proof? Are you talking about Jack Daniels? Though I think Booker's is actually older than the JD single barrel proofs. So Jack Daniels single barrel proofs they're around the same age. They're about 7, 8 years old. So if that's the case, they're around the same age. And I don't know if it's hard to tell if it's older or younger. I don't know. Remember, Jack Daniels are single barrel, so sometimes you could get ones that are a little bit more oak forward. Maybe it depends on just where they're aged. They're pulling different barrels from different locations for the Bookers to make a specific flavor profile. So going small batch versus single barrel is always tough, and that was Booker's kind of whole deal. Like, he didn't like that there was so much variation with single barrels. He wanted a more of a consistent flavor profile. So even though Booker's maybe leans towards more consistent flavor profile, I'm hoping that the different barrels they use along the line as the stuff gets older are a little bit more differentiated to give a little bit more of a flavor profile spectrum, if you will. Double base, say nutty, less banana forward, and Booker's. Yeah, that could work. Is the bourbon market about to pop? No, I don't think the bourbon market's about to pop. I just think people are getting overwhelmed with. We've talked about this. I don't think it's in any danger of popping. Bourbon is still extremely popular. People are still interested in doing the bourbon tourism. They're still interested in buying bottles. And if the lines, at liquor stores are still any indication, it's still happening. I think there's just less people. I think the people that were bourbon curious, during COVID time, people that were bourbon curious that really got into it, started taking a deep dive because there was nothing else to do but drink, have probably gotten I think a good amount of those people have gotten a little bit sick and tired of being sick and tired of both prices, dealing with, fighting with folks to get allocated bottles. And I think a lot of those people tapered off and they're just kind of happy with what they got. All the whiskey that they accumulated over those few years, they're probably just happy with it now. And they just moved on to other things. Plus with all the different bourbons that are available on the shelf, a lot of people are just like, there's no reason for me to chase after all these allocated high-priced bottles. Obviously, we do because we're always interested in the next thing. But I think there's a good amount of people that are just like, you know what? I have what I have. I like what I like. I found out what I like, and I'm good with it. And I've gotten more comments about people saying I'm not spending any more than $60 on a bottle of bourbon anymore. And I've gotten those more recently in the last year or so. And I think some of the higher priced bottles and some of those NDPs and what they're dealing with lately, I think it's showing. So for sure. Juan Ariola says, I'm sick and tired. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Just sells any update on your fall event. Yeah, we're pretty much raring to go. Again, we're just trying to work out that Saturday day. Another double base, new rare breed. Kenneth Ratburn, there's a quadruple base coming this Friday with Green River and rare breed and a couple of others that were voted on. So we'll get there. All right, let's hit this Elijah Quake barrel proof again. That's the C923. This is B524. So let's pour this one. Let's see if this has opened up at all. Has it gotten better? All that fun stuff. So we'll start with that, and then what we'll do here is we'll do a little compare to C919 and C923, and we'll see where we end up. All right, let me kind of move some of these bottles around. I better knock that over. Just like surrounded by bottles here. All right. Let's see. Black Bourbon family is here. What's going on, Jason and Brandy? Jason, by the way, I've been working on a cool blind tasting for you, so I should be sending that out soon. So I know you're waiting on it, but I wanted to put some fun stuff together for you, so I'll let you know when it's coming. National Barrel Company picks are the only thing I will spend more than $75 on, says Stephen Walt. I said that on the beginning of the year, then I got to taste Kelvin 6, and my price cap went out the window. $200 later, it's on one of the best bottles I own and worth it, says Paul P. What's up, Dusty? Again, bottle prices and what everyone's willing to spend is subjective. I think people have gotten more adamant, more vocal about not spending $200 on sourced whiskey. But, I mean, I never really – I guess I understand that argument. But if you just stick to what's on the shelf, you're going to miss out on bottles like Four Gate that are doing stuff that's, unique. Like Barrel King, Four Gate, Backbone, Nashville Barrel Company. And we'll go through some more brands that I think are really doing some cool stuff, especially here in 2024. And we'll kind of go through some of those because I think a lot of people are kind of lost when it comes to, which ones am I spending the money on, on top of, especially bottles outside of ones that are on the shelf. So Chase Johansson is here. Says finally catching alive after going on a brief hiatus. What's going on, Chase? Bourbon is too popular now. Source whiskey is usually too expensive for most people, says the Dram Diaries. Yeah, I would agree. But again, I think it just goes to people that are into bourbon, but they're just happy with what they have and what's on the shelf, not really chasing a lot of the expensive bottles. And I don't think I think there's less of a want to get educated in the category. People just want to be around bourbon and drink it, and they're just kind of willing to drink what's there. Nice. I recently suggested C919 versus C923 in the last triple base episodes of Joe Perkins. Yep. Buzzards Roost Barrel Strength versus Rare Breed, Bird versus Bird, says Quentin King. I like that one. All right. So B524. Let's go through this again real quick here. Again, solid nose. It has gotten sweeter since I first opened it, and I did say that on my review. I think it's a little bit more rye and oak forward. Definitely spice forward, spice driven. All right, let's give it a try here. So coming off the Booker's, even though that was a strong, bourbon, this at 130.6 proof, it still holds its own. Again, I think it's getting sweeter. Good sweetness here, good oak, good spice. Yeah, it's definitely gotten sweeter, but that spice still holds. It's good. There's a little bit of there's like a bright fruit note that's emerging here. I don't know if that's But see, the more I sip it, the more the oak kind of takes over. The spice takes over. Again, I think this is just a very good, solid batch of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Nothing has really swayed me from thinking that. I don't think it's this amazing, great batch. I really don't, like, to be honest. There's some comments I got, people that absolutely love this batch. Hey, that's fine. Someone did also write that this is probably one of the most criticized bourbons on the planet, and I would agree. I think everybody wants every batch to be like a C923 level or a C919, or, you know, every batch that any one person feels is stellar. They just want every batch to be like that, and that's just unsustainable, unfortunately. But that's why it's so subjective, and everybody likes certain batches. But for me, yeah, I mean, again, I think this is just a really good, solid batch. I don't think it's anything super special. And maybe I'm guilty of putting a little bit too much, being really harsh with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, because I feel like I want every batch to be either like a C923 experience or a couple before it that I really like C917, C918, B522. Yeah. What's up, John Vornick? Thanks, man. What are the chances I find a B524 in North Ohio next week, Mark Emmett? Yeah, you might. I went to the store. This was sitting on the shelf over the weekend. Nobody bought it. So, interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit lighter. It's good. I think one thing I will take back from my review, I said it drank a little thin, and I think I said that because of how spice-driven it was. I just wasn't getting enough, but I don't think it's thin. I think it is a little bit more viscous than I said it was. So if there was one thing I would change, probably that. But all right, let's compare it here. Let's do a quick comparison. Okay, this is C923. And don't ask me what friggin' laser coat it is, because I don't care. This is C919, which when we did the whole blind tasting, I said if you never found C923 because of the hype, C919 was actually a really good, I guess, second place to it. All right, so let's back this up. There we go. Oh, that looks nice. Let me get some water here. Yeah, I'm trying to find a Larceny B524. That actually hasn't hit yet, at least here. Jason Kobe. Outside the Star, could you hear me? No, that one was bottled on Friday. It's trash. Oh, it's bottled Friday. Okay. All right, let's go to nose here. So B524 in the nose. Again, I think it's better on the palate than the nose. The nose comes across as very typical Heaven Hill. Cracker Jack, candy corn, caramel, a little bit of a musty oak to it, and some spice. I get a little bit of like a chili powder in that one. All right, this is the C923, right? C923. Yeah, see, I think the polarizing thing about C923 is that some people thought it was too oaky, a little bit too, I don't know, oak-driven, a little bit musty. And I totally agree. I think it actually is that. But it also reminded me of some of those old pirate bottles. And that's why I loved it so much for me personally. And it still smells like that. Dark, rich oak. Good amount of sweet here. A lot of cherry. So already the C923 has it for me on the nose. C919. C919 is almost a combination of the two, where it has it's got the Heaven Hill profile, but there's a musty oak note to it as well. It's kind of weird that Elijah Craig gets so much scrutiny. As one might say, there is no better value for 10, 11, 12-year Kentucky cask strength bourbon. That's the thing, Don. I just think everybody wants it to be great every single time. And I just think it's very subjective. Excuse me. Each batch is very subjective. And there's 3 a year. So every year you have 3 times where you can, put it under a microscope. And, to me at this point, that was my thing last year with C923 and even, some of the others. Like, just appreciate what it is. It's really good for the money. Love how C923 has that funk layered with sweetness, like a good funky. Yeah, Dylan, that's so spot on. It's got a funk to it that I love. Jason, how many bottles of C923 did you have in the bunker, if any? Please, P.S. Let's go Mets. Mike Daly, thank you. So far, the Mets suck, and I only have one other one. I have 2 more of these. That's it. Just 2. All right, I feel like C919 is actually a nice little combo of the 2. It has the Heaven Hill profile, but it also has the but it also has a little bit of a musty funk that C923 has. So, all right, let's try B524 one more time. B524 has sweetened up a lot to the point where I'm getting like a cookie dough note in it now. Straight up cookie dough. In between the spice. The one thing, though, it's still lacking is the finish on it. I'm not getting a really big, long finish like I do in some of the others. All right. C923. Yeah, see, C923 is another level. It's not even close. It's not even close. I don't care what anybody says. You can't even compare them. You can't. C923 immediately from front to back is just it's the flavor train cometh. Long, super long finish. It's dense. I said that this isn't thin. I took that part back. But it's thinner compared to C923 for sure. Come on, dude. C923 is ridiculous. That's right, guys. Hit that like button. Oh, man, just pull out the B522. Yes, butterscotch. Mike Ives, right? That B522, I bought a couple backups of that. I love that batch so much. All right, let's go to C919. Let's see what we get. Ooh, C919 is more of like the cherry strawberry type of hit that I get. For sure. I like both of these more than B524. Sorry. Oh, hell yeah. Let me go back to B524 one more time. Coming off of these two, B524 doesn't hold a candle to these two. I'm sorry. It's good. And you know what? To B524's credit, it's getting better. The more it opens up, I think the sweeter it's getting. There's more of like this buttery, this this cookie dough note I'm getting here. A little bit of a bright fruit note as well. But I think the complexity of these two versus this one, this is still a little bit more of a Heaven Hill typical profile that you would get with a little bit more spice dusted on it. Whereas these two, I think, are still on another level. So, yeah. Be careful to stay on your seat. I know I'm drinking all the ECBP tonight. If you could create your perfect ECBP age and proof combo, what would you want it to be? And would it compete with HH17? Quentin King, I mean, that's kind of the dream right there. I don't need Elijah Craig barrel proof to be 130 proof every time. I kind of like it when it's in like that 120, 125 range, to be honest. If it is 130 proof, I feel like it needs to be a little bit of an older age, like that C923 was. But actually, what was the proof of the C919? trying to remember. What was the proof of that one? You know what? I stand corrected. I like them over 130 apparently, because all three of these are over 130 and they're all pretty good. But again, the B524 is very good, but I don't think it's as good as those. So I'm just gonna keep drinking the C923. Shit is good. All right. So final verdict on the B524. It's good. It's getting better. It's getting sweeter. But I don't think it's nearly as good as a couple of those other batches. I think I'll say it's more of a mid-tier, maybe a little bit more of a mid-tier, a little bit slightly above a mid-tier Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, but I don't think it's up here with the hitters. So there you go. Yeah, C919 is 136.8. So I can't say I like them at 125 because all the ones I pulled out are all above 130. I mean, shit. So, all right. So while we're honestly, I don't care which is better when shopping. They're all still great value as they all open up and do get a little better. Absolutely, Alex Smith. I think that's really what it is. I think as reviewers, we buy every single one because we know it has the chance to be something special, or even the mediocre ones. It's like pizza. Even pizza that's not that great, still pretty good. Let's be honest. C923 was literally my bourbon of the year last year until I got a Four Roses. Outside the Star, the Four Roses 135th last year was this close. But yeah. That Four Roses 135th is a special bourbon. God, the C923 is stupid good. Getting like cherry grape soda on it with oak, and oh my god, it's so good. Jason Coates says, I'm not really buying ECVPs, and although it's not that I'm mad at it, I just have like 15 in the bunker after a few years of accumulation. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I totally get that. All right. A124 is no slouch either. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's more of a typical batch. I don't think there's anything great about it, but I do think the B524 is definitely a step up. I'm literally choking down New York pizza as we speak. Is it great? No. Is it great enough? Yes, it is. Sean Holtgrove saying, Holtgrave, pizza's like sex. Even when it sucks, it's still pizza. What? Okay. Oh my god, that's so funny. All right, guys, let's get into some news stories here. If you've been paying attention to the ticker, you know some of the news stories. But let's get into the first one here, guys, and that is that Old Forester is launching a surprise release of the President's Choice Bourbon as Father's Day draws near. They have two of them that are 11. So usually on the front of the bottles, it says it spent 11 summers, which is, just atypical. That's how they do their age statement. So 2 11 years and then 1 7 year. And as you can see, let's see, the bottle hosts a retail price of $225, and it's dropping with Father's Day just around the corner. Now, these have already dropped. How do I know that? Because they are all over the resale market right now. I'm telling you, these flippers know when this shit is dropping. They go, they get it, and it's literally on the resale market before they're even back at the car. That's how you know these things are dropping already. President's Choice is our most sought-after product, and most people never get the chance to buy a bottle, says Master Taster Melissa Rift. We're excited to announce this special President's Choice release just in time for Father's Day. The barrels spend 7 to 12 years aging, and President's Choice typically hosts a proof anywhere within 105 to 120 proof. Now, the brand released President's Choice back in 2021, and buyers needed to drive to the Old Forester distillery in Louisville to pick it up. This year, the brand was selling it online and shipping it to states that is legal to do so. So that part of it, I think, is really cool. They opened it up. They said, hey, if you want to buy one, go for it. And you can, you can definitely, if your state allows shipping, we'll just ship it to you, which I thought was great. I saw some screenshots of people saying, like, you're waiting in line to get one, which I thought was interesting. So, but that's how you know these are dropping already, because people go there, they get them, and then you see them on secondary like immediately. It happened earlier this year when Old Forester was doing the President's Choice. They were doing a special tour, and at the end of the tour, they were offering up President's Choice to buy, and people were putting those on secondary. Nobody ever knows when President's Choice is dropping until you look at the resale market. You start seeing them, and then you know that, okay, Old Forester probably just dropped a President's Choice. So, yeah, shipping was like 4 states, though. That was the thing. Smoking Firewater. Get it. The online queue system worked really well, says Nathan Jurgensen. Jason making me Fat Choice sound like a Cowboys season. Sweet at the start, but not a strong finish. That's pretty much what it is for me. Pretty much what it is, Quentin. If B524 had a longer finish that was drawn out, a little bit more complex, that would be a banger of an Elijah Craig barrel proof. I feel like it's the only thing that's missing for me personally. Really wish I knew about the drop today. Yeah, people are kind of going crazy for it. Okay, let's go back to the next one. This is a brand that hasn't been in the news lately, but looks like it's popping back in here. Everybody's favorite Blue Run has picked back up. Coors Blue Run whiskey brand raises a glass to scenic places like Joshua Tree with their second Flight Series release. So Blue Run Spirits announced on yesterday, a release composed of 6 micro batch whiskeys. Each expression has suggested retail price of $119.99. The collection features 6 whiskeys inspired by scenic outdoor locations, and each one is sourced from between 2 to 5 barrels as part of the brand's micro batching process. Blue Run initially released Flight Series 1 in October 2022, and the brand took the creation process to the great outdoors for this release. So one of them, I'm just going to go through the names of all 6 guys. The Biscayne Breeze, the Joshua Tree Sunrise, the Miami Sunset, the Santa Monica Pier, the Tahoe Powder, and the Yosemite Pine. So those are the names of all 6, and there you go. Boo Run. Jay, so what are you saying is B524 finishes quick, like the Giants? I feel girthy when Girth Brooks shows up. Is Girth Brooks here? What's going on, Girth? I have Blue Run Reflections and Blue Reflections 1, and that's enough to keep me away from their product. Egg Roll says, I'm sure. Hey, what's up, Egg Roll? I'm sure they were really inspired by these locations and not just another nonsense marketing ploy. Rant. I could rant forever on this. I don't know. I kind of wish Blue Run would get away from like the cutesy named releases and just come out with a banger of a bourbon, like Butterfly. I don't know, like Butterfly Middle Finger. Like just come out with like a really just crazy, dark, rich, non-sourced, barrel strength bourbon that is incredible. Like that, I would love to see that from Blue Run, but we never really see that. We see all these things that are named after the 12 Days of Christmas. Now we got these scenic releases that I don't really think are going to resonate too much. Yeah, I don't know. I just, Butterfly, call it the Butterfly Tramp Stamp. I don't know. Just give it some edge. I'm not feeling all this fluffy, scenic 12 Days of Christmas. Give me something badass. Make a Butterfly badass, Blue Run. That's what you need to do. Give us some dark, just barrel strength hitters, and we'll see where it goes. Oh, man. Just saying. All right, let's talk about this one because people. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, in the episode tonight. A radical idea from the Star Angel's Envy breaks tradition with the release of unfinished bourbon. I know it's Bourbon Night. Chad and Sarah already did a take on this bourbon from their live stream. They're in Kentucky, so they were able to get one of these. But it's an interesting release. I'll say this. I think when you first look at this bottle, everybody thinks immediately that this Angel's Envy is finished because normally we haven't seen anything that's not been finished from them. This is their unfinished bottled in bond bourbon, which is a first. Not only the unfinished part, but the fact that it's bottled in bond. So distinctive finishes are pretty much their calling card. But they chose to pivot a bit with the release of this different bourbon, finding that less is more. So this is interesting how they made this. So Angel's Envy Cask Strength Bottled in Bond Bourbon hosts a suggested retail price of $55 for a 375 milliliter bottle, and they're available to the public now. Now, the barrels were filled in spring of 2018 at 103 proof. So super low entry proof, probably one of the lowest that I've heard of. I think that might be lower than Michter's. I think Michter's is what, 104? This is 103. And let it rest in a cool warehouse. So it really dropped in proof. Martin chose 27 of the low proof barrels and blended them with 2 high proof rye barrels from the same season to make the bottled in bond regulations. So essentially what they did is they had these super low proof barrels. They added in some higher proof ones and blended them together to get to that 100 proof point, which makes it cask strength. So that part is kind of cool. I like seeing Angel's Envy do this. Generally, Angel's Envy, I think for a lot of people, was looked upon as they finish everything because their stuff is not good enough to be released, as is. So you need a finish to make it taste better. And you could say that about a lot of brands across the spectrum over the last few years. But for me, I think this is kind of cool. Listen, I haven't tasted it, but the fact that they go in the barrel at 103 proof, which really releases some sugars in the barrel when you're putting that much water ahead of time into the barrel, that has a chance to be a pretty sweet, bourbon. And the fact that they didn't finish it shows me a lot of balls that I didn't think Angel's Envy had, to be honest. So the fact that Angel's Envy is doing this and releasing this, now, while it might not be the greatest, bourbon in the world, I think it kind of shows a little bit of the future forward, because their stuff is starting to maybe come of age a little bit. Some of their own distillate, not all the source stuff that they're using. So I think this is kind of an exciting thing for Angel's Envy overall. Look, I've never been a huge fan of Angel's Envy. I think their prices are way too high. Everything is finished, and their stuff never really truly impressed me. But that bottle, even if it's not the best bourbon in the world, impresses me because it shows growth from the brand. So, that's my take on it. Let's see. Fred Minnick gave us a great review. I got to watch his review. So, yeah, if Fred liked it, usually Fred really likes that, kind of that graininess and some of the youthful notes you find in some whiskey. So I'm curious if that is in there. But we'll see. I would like to track a bottle of that down and see if I can see how it is, to be honest. So, all right, let's go to what's to see on the TTB. A couple of really cool labels popped up on the TTB this past week. One of them, the next Wild Turkey Master's Keep. We're just on the cusp of releasing the Triumph here. Triumph is starting to drop everywhere. Beacon looks like it's going to be the next Master's Keep. And for the first time, it looks like we're going to have Eddie and Bruce's name on the bottle. 118 proof. This looks like it's a unique blend. There's no other real information here. It says it's a unique heritage blend by Eddie and Bruce together. And I am all about it. Again, we're probably looking at another $300 bottle. Unfortunately, I don't see anything showing what the ages of this whiskey is quite yet, but I don't think that's a fake proof point. I think that's the actual proof point and what they choose, what they're going to be bringing out. So Beacon, I think, might be a fitting name for the plans that are ahead for Bruce Russell. Maybe he is the Beacon going forward. As Eddie Russell takes a little bit of a step back, Jimmy Russell obviously taking a huge step back already, and the beacon of hope going forward could be Bruce. And I absolutely love this. So we'll see what it ends up being. You guys know I love turkey, so always interested to see what's coming out of those walls. Hard Truth, one of my favorite newer One of my favorite newer brands in the last couple years. Straight rye whiskey, barrel strength, uncut, unfiltered. And look at this mash bill, guys. It's going to be called the Ensemble. They are blending the chocolate, caramel, and malted rye malts. I'm sorry, the malted rye with the chocolate malt and the caramel malt to make this at cask strength. I cannot wait to taste this. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Prideful Goat looks like they're releasing a 12-year unfiltered rye whiskey finished in American whiskey cask. So I'm wondering if this is kind of a double oaked 12-year rye whiskey, being that it says it's finished in an American whiskey cask. It says 100 proof there. I don't know if that's going to be the actual proof, but we'll see. Speaking of Angel's Envy, they've already released their next cask strength Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in port barrels. It says 118 proof. Don't know if that's going to be the actual proof point, but we'll see. That's going to be sometimes late this year. That's going to probably be a skip for me. Those are usually about $225 to $250, and to me, they're just never worth it. Bomburgers. The new Bomburgers Declaration popped up here. This is the 2025 release. This is already next year's release. It's going to be called the Precision Fine Grain. If you look on the back of the label, it says this bourbon is aged in a custom proprietary barrel resulting from a thoughtful collaboration between, exacting specifications. They're constructed of fine grain oak, which has been seasoned outdoors for a minimum of 40 months. That's a long time. And to give you guys context, most barrels are only seasoned for about 18 months. So 40 months is a long time. The barrels were toasted at a defined temperature range for a precise period of time before they are charred to our specifications. Upon full maturation, the result is an elegant, rich, and blah, blah, blah bourbon. So we'll see what happens. And last but not least, speaking of Cedar Ridge, the quintessential American whiskey, looks like they are releasing the Untitled Cigar Malt Project. And I want about 25 bottles of this. This sounds incredible. You see some of the finishes in there. I think there's some port there. There's some, I can't read that small print from where I am. So, yeah, you guys can check it out. But that's what's going on in the TTB. So, yeah. Blue Run, the Butter Nutter release. Tastes like butter or sweaty balls. You saw it. That 12 years Canadian. Oh, it's Canadian whiskey? Yeah, well, yeah, usually. C923. If I could ever blend something like this from my own brand that I'm working on, this will be something like my first release. Oh my God. Quintessential never misses. Sweaty balls are the best. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's get into the year in review for 2024. This is what we're here for tonight. Let's talk about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through the releases here for each month and what stood out, what didn't stand out, and kind of get your take on the matter here in the chat because I really like hearing from you guys, obviously. So I'm just literally going through the bourbon release counter, the bourbon release calendar here on Breaking Bourbon. So January, we had the Angel's Envy Cellar Collection, the Angel's Envy Oloroso Sherry Cask Finish, the Madeira. We had a Buzzard's Roost American, Chattanooga, Herbal Infused, didn't have that one. And then a Logic Pick Barrel Proof Batch A124, which we said was kind of a mediocre batch at best, I think. So not a big month here in January. Normally it starts off a little bit slow. You have the Larceny Barrel Proof A124, which I also think was solid. The one good thing I like about Larceny is I feel like they're finding a consistency, much like ECBP, where even the not so great batches are still pretty good for what they are. Back when they first started, the bad Larceny barrels were bad. The bad Larceny barrel proofs were bad. Now, even one that's not exceptional is still pretty damn good. So hopefully that continues to be the trend. But one of the main releases that came out of January was Old Forester 1924. And this is probably one of the more, it's right here. One of the more polarizing releases from everybody because I think we wanted this bottle so bad. We loved it. We when this bottle first came out, secondary prices were insane. For me, this bottle is it's good. It's not great, but it's good. And I think the one thing that people went crazy about over this bottle was the price. And being that it's $115, $120 retail, I think threw a lot of people off. And again, I always go back to, you have to remember that even Old Forester 1920, Old Forester Bottled and Bond, even the barrel strength bottles, most of those bottles are 4 to 5 years old. 4 to 5 years old, and they're what, $60, $65? So when you see a bottle of a 10-year-old Old Forester for $115, it kind of tracks with how they price their stuff. And I think everybody wanted this bottle to be a little bit more money than like the 1920 or some of those barrel strength picks. I think I understand that part to a point, but I don't think people are thinking of like, age to, everything else that kind of goes along with it. It's hard to be rational when you're used to paying 60, like 50 to, or I mean, even the cheap bottles from Old Forester, the Signature, which is a great 100 proof bourbon at like $22. Then you get to 50, then you get to 60, 70, maybe 80 for the barrel proof ones. And then they're asking you to pay a little bit over $100 for a 10-year. To most people, when you're so used to buying those bottles under $100, then you throw this one in the mix and it's only 100 proof for 10 years old. People are like, I'm not paying that much, but people did. There are a lot of people that really like this batch. I thought it was okay, good, not great. It lacks a complete finish for me. The finish falls off the table real fast for me on this bourbon. I love the upfront, I love the palate, but there's no finish on it. And so yeah. Hey, what's up, EMC? Nice to see you there. People are fine with spending $150 for a 10-year birthday bourbon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hell, birthday bourbon some years was 10 years old. Yeah, which I think actually is a bad sign for birthday bourbon. I think it doesn't. People were calling this the poor man's birthday bourbon. I mean, they're not far off. When you consider birthday bourbons are normally not that old, low proof, and usually when I try a birthday bourbon, finish falls off the table. Now, I'm very excited about this year's birthday bourbon. 12 years, 107 proof. If that's what comes out, I'm going to probably try to get a birthday bourbon this year. We'll see. But it's probably going to be really hard. I might have to make some more trades unless I somehow win the lottery this year. But that was probably one of the biggest bottles here in January, to be honest. Let's get into, we also had Woodford double oaked in January, which was okay. Let's go to February. We had the Bernheim Barrel Proof Wheat Whiskey, batch A224, which was, okay. Bullet American Single Malt, I couldn't stand that bottle. It was very sour. I was not a fan of that one. Let's see here. Foregate had a triple oak. Green River came to the market in February with their 95 proof, $35 rye, which I think is absolutely, it's a great rye, great price. Green River, again, making some huge strides this year. You had the Jack Daniels, the 10-year and the 12-year releases that released in February. And those two releases really kind of didn't get a lot of attention, if you think about it. Like it did, but it didn't. I think when it initially released, everybody was all crazy about them, especially the 12-year. And I think I liked the 10-year better. So versus last year, I think the 10-year this year is better than last year's 10-year, but I think last year's 12-year is better than this year's 12-year. But that's me. So kind of interesting with the Jack Daniels one. Again, they have a 14-year, I think, releasing at some point this year, so we'll see how that goes. Let's see. The Penelope Tokai cask finish release, I thought that was a really nice release. And Woodford Reserve Batch Proof 2024. Again, solid release. $150 for non-age stated. Woodford, again, you're probably looking at something, since it's a Brown-Forman product, it's Old Forester and Woodford pot still blended together. You're probably still looking at a 5 to 6 year old product in that bottle for $150, $160. I don't care what people say about it. I think it's a terrible value, and I wish they would give us a little bit of an age statement on it for that type of money. March, you had the 13 Colony Cast Strength 15-year anniversary. That was a French oak finish. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was super great, but I liked it. Let's see. Bart's Bourbon Company, the Amaro Nonino, very, very distinct, very interesting blend, interesting collaboration. I don't think it was everybody's favorite, whoever got that one. You had some releases from Dragon's Milk, Hard Truth 4-grain bourbon. That's right. Hard Truth released 3 bourbons, a bottled and bond, a 4-grain, and just their regular sweet mash bourbon. I think they're great releases for the price, but they do need to come up in age a little bit, I think, before people really get on board. You have the Michter's Barrel Strength Rye. Those are always good each and every year. That's going to be in the flight tonight, so we'll get to that one. New Riff Distilling 8-year bourbon. Let's talk about that one. I have that right here. Oh, breaking bottles here. This New Riff 8-year is one of my favorite bourbons I got to try this year. This thing is so good for an 8-year product, and I think this is highly under the radar. Not enough people are talking about how good this release is, and I absolutely love it. So this is in the flight tonight as well. So we'll see how that one does. Let's see. Yeah, the Booker's was pretty good, Irish. It's not really very the Irish. The Booker's second batch is sweeter. It's fruitier. A lot of caramel apple I got. So you can look back and watch. I'm going to release a full review of it tomorrow, so you'll see a full review of it. So there you go. This is not true, Tom Hopper. I love the K. Luke. I just missed out on getting a bottle of it. But this K. Luke is in the flight tonight. K. Luke Barrel Strength Batch 8, I think, is one of the best bourbons I've had this year too. So we will see how it does tonight as well. Let's get into a couple of the other releases. We had the Indigo's Hour Bourbon, 90 proof, 18 years. I did get a sample of it. A lot of people are asking me to review it. I think it was good, but the proof is too low for me. But that's me. And for $225, it was definitely not worth it to me. If I had to do like a quick final breakdown, low value, I wouldn't even say try before you buy. That would probably be a skip for me, to be honest. Pursuit United Double Oak Bourbon, one of my favorite kind of surprise releases of the year. I really enjoy that release. I don't think it's going to make any top tier list for me, but that butterscotchy birthday cake note that bottle has is probably, it's so damn good. I love it. Rebel 100 6-year Kentucky Straight Bourbon, and I think that was really it for that one for March. Not a lot. All right, let's get into April. The A Overholt Straight Rye, 95 proof. The Monongahela Rye, loved it. Great release, very unique, floral, spicy. Also, good price point too. So I think that was a really good release from Jim Beam. You have the Mizunara release from Barrel Bourbon Cask Finish Series. I thought that was a really good release. If you like Mizunara finishes. Basil Hayden Subtle Smoke 2024 edition. No, thank you. The Bullet 12-year Rye, 90 proof, $60. That is in my rye flight tonight. That has gotten a lot better over time from the first time I tasted it, so we'll see how it does in tonight's flight. That's a great release, I think, from Bullet. The Ezra Brooks 99 Port Wine Cask Finish Bourbon. That one's okay. The best part about it is that it's $35. So if you buy it, weren't really crazy about it, it was only $35. Let's see. High West Burride, Jack Daniels, McLaren Racing 2024 edition. That's just Jack Daniels, old number 7 in a fancy bottle, to be honest. Michter's 10-year single barrel bourbon. I did not put that in the flight tonight. I thought this year's was really good, but not as good as last year's, at least the single barrel that I got. Old Fitz, Bottle and Bond 25th Anniversary Edition. You guys know I love that one. That one is a special release, and that is in the flight tonight. Let's see. Rabbit Hole Founders Collection, Mizunara, $1,500. Yep, no thank you. We had a couple Templetons. The Two Souls Double Barreled Bourbon featuring Watershed Distillery. That was not my favorite, but the one featuring Middle West is the OH Rye, which is in the flight tonight. Probably one of my favorite ryes I've tasted in a long time. We'll see how it does tonight. Let's get to May. 13 Colony Cask Strength Southern Bourbon. Haven't tried that yet, but I have a sample on the way. The Bardstown Bourbon Collaboration Amroot. I don't care what anybody says. That has a chance to be a top 5 bourbon this year. I think it's that good. It's unique. It is delicious. It's fruit forward. It's slightly malty. It's spicy. That bourbon is one of the more unique expressions that I've loved in a long time, especially from Bardstown. So I'm talking about collaborations in general. I think that Amroot collaboration absolutely killed it. I know people don't like that it's $160, but there are some high-age whiskeys on there. I don't care what anybody says. I have a bottle on the way. I finally just bought one online. Freaking seal box is taking forever to deliver it. I was hoping to have it tonight, but I didn't have any more. I would have been curious to see how it did in the flight tonight, but we will test that out along the way. But that is one of my favorite releases this year, hands down. Blood Oath Pack number 10. I actually really like this year's, but I still wouldn't say it's a stellar release. Elijah Creek Barrel Proof B524. We just talked about it. It's getting sweeter, getting a little bit better. George Dickel 12-year bottled in bond for $45. Great release, but it's Dickel. Larceny Barrel Proof Batch B524. Haven't tasted that one yet. Little Book. Haven't tasted that yet. Old Fitz 10-year apparently is pretty good, but haven't gotten to try that one yet. The Old Stubborn Blended Pot Still Straight Bourbon. That I finally got to try a couple weekends ago. I was in Tennessee. I was hanging out with Ethan and Katie Turk. Somebody had brought that Old Stubborn, and it's a very, very unique profile. You could definitely taste the pot still in it. I did not like that bourbon at $250? If it was $125, I would have liked it a lot more. But $250, it's good, borderline great, but I don't think it's $250 good by any means. Let me see what else. The Weller Millennium came out. I don't know if you guys heard about that one. Yeah, Weller Millennium. And then we have here in June just some ones that we had mentioned. The Angel's Envy, Buckner's. Looks like it's releasing a 17-year Kentucky Straight Bourbon for $400. The Green River Full Proof, which I love, $50, 5 to 7 year old. Great release from them. I think that's going to be awesome. Hardin's Creek's going to be coming out with that corn whiskey, that high-age corn whiskey, the 11-year, 106 proof we'll see here in June. But that's probably going to be basically high-age mellow corn again. Not mellow corn, but whatever Jim Beam's version of mellow corn is, I guess. Old Forester President's Choice we just talked about. Didn't really get any of those. And, of course, the Wild Turkey Master's Keep Triumph. So a lot more to come here as we get into July and the rest of the year. So that is basically most of the big releases. I do have a Knob Creek 10-year rye that I do want to review soon. Also the Burai that they released kind of under the radar. So we'll see. What happens there. Disco 11 or Amroot. Here's the thing. If that's your question, those are two completely different whiskeys. The Disco 11 is basically, most of it is Wild Turkey. So obviously I love that bottle. If you love Wild Turkey, you will love Disco 11. The Amroot, however, I will say is definitely more unique. I don't know, man. I just love that Amroot. I don't know how else to... I think people are scared that it's an Indian single malt and that it's malty, and it's really not that malty, to be honest. Missed my faves, Manifest Whiskey Project from Take. Nathan, yeah, I wish I'd gotten a bottle of that. I did not, but I'm hearing incredible things about that stuff for sure. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I got two of the Wellers. It says Ben Drammond. Hey, what's up, Lizette? Nice to see you, Lizette. How are you? Nice to see you as always. Has anyone heard of the new 2024 Bardstown Collection 20-year? Yeah, so those are just released in Bardstown during their collection. So all the distillers in Bardstown do a special release for that time of year. And we have 450 here in the chat. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Please hit the like button while you're here, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe if you haven't yet. Again, trying to hit that 100,000 subscriber milestone. I know I keep harping on it, and it's probably annoying to hear, guys, but I'm just trying to get to that milestone. It's like sometimes I go through all these ebbs and flows where getting a lot of subscribers, but I just think I need a couple more clickbaiters, unfortunately. So if you see some more clickbait videos coming from me here soon, I'm apologizing ahead of time. Disco Amroot or Kelvin 6, says Nicholas. That is something I need to test. Again, if I had the Amroot here, that would have been in tonight's blind. But that might be a good setup for a double base soon. As soon as I get that Amroot bottle, for sure. Jason Coates, Amroot is a hot climate malt. Probably has to cut fairly tight so it works at a young age. Says they can't let it go for very long. Tends to be bright and fruity, not malty. I think that's a perfect explanation of what you get in that blend from Bardstown Bourbon Company. I've heard really good things about this Murray Hill Club special release, but haven't gotten it, Mark. B524 micro batch vid. Yeah, I think that might be the way to go. First time catching a live just north up of Columbus in North Canton. Oh, Canton. What's up, Ryan? Nice to see you, man. Real quick, I know somebody was asking me in the chat what barrels to pick this weekend for Father's Day for the Russell's picks. And I'll tell you here right now. I was luckily part of the of picking those barrels for Ohio. So let me see. I just literally just wrote this out. Was that in the whiskey chat? Let's see here. I think I wrote them down somewhere. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Yeah, I gotta find. Man, this is a busy Discord. I gotta find exactly where I wrote that. Let me search. Let me try this again. Mesh. Oh, there we go. Let me look this up. All right, yeah, let me go to this conversation. Here we go. All right, guys, so here are the barrels that I loved. Now, again, I don't know where Ohio is sending each of these barrels because some go to Cleveland, some go to Cincy, and some come here to Columbus. So they kind of spread them out. So here are the barrels that I was talking about. There are a bunch of Camp Nelson E's that we got to pick, which are all stellar. So if you find one of the Camp Nelson E's this weekend, definitely grab one of the Camp Nelson E's. They're all relatively really good. The ones that I liked, my personal favorites, I'll give you a minute to write this down. If you happen to come across these barrels, grab these barrels. Camp Nelson E, the barrel number is 230631. 23-0631. That's a Camp Nelson E. That one was one of the ones that stood out for me. Next was a Camp Nelson Tyrone F. I'm sorry, not Camp Nelson Tyrone F. Duh. Camp Nelson F. It was a CNF. That was 23-0682. So Camp Nelson F, 23-0682. So look for that one. Here's the Tyrone one. Tyrone F. I got them confused. There's a Tyrone F that also is getting released, which is 24-0205. So those three barrels were my personal favorites and the ones that I really liked and I'm going to try to get my hands on. So if anybody watching doesn't really know, Ohio releases a whole bevy of Russell's Reserve single barrels during Father's Day weekend. And these three barrels, and luckily they asked me to help pick a couple more this year, and these 3 were my personal favorites. So again, lastly, 23-0631, Camp Nelson E, 23-0682, a Camp Nelson F, hell yeah, and then a 24-0205 Tyrone F. Those are the 3. There's also going to be a couple of Wild Turkey 101 rye single barrels, and if you're on the market to get one of those for your collection, if you could find, none of them, there's 4 barrels, none of them are super stellar, but there was one that had a little bit of an elevated sweetness to it, and I do think you're looking at 24-6043. That's going to be the barrel you want to find for the 101 rye, in my opinion. So there you go. Those are the 4 barrels, and you're welcome, Ohio. No, they're 101s. They're 101s, meow meow. Yep. What's your thoughts on Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered? How come you don't do more on them? MW, I don't know. I probably should try more of those blends, but I just haven't. Just because there's so much MGP out there, for sure. Copy. So 20-64. Wait, can you repeat that? Jason Kobe, I'm not repeating it anymore. Go back. So that's where I'm going. Okay. So let's talk about some other brands here, and then we're going to get into the first blind tasting, and we're going to start with the rye blind tasting tonight. So in the blind tasting tonight, we have 5 ryes. So we have the Bullet 12-year rye is in here tonight. That's 1. We also have the Old Overholt 10-year cast strength. That's in here tonight as well. So that's 2. We also have the Michter's 10-year single barrel. That's 3. We have the Two Souls dark pumpernickel rye. That's 4. And the 5th one, I think, is what did I say the 5th one was? It's the other rye here. The 5th one was what was that other rye? Damn, what was the 5th rye? I don't even know. Oh, the Michter's Barrel Strength rye. That's it. So 2 Michter's in here. So that's your 5 ryes, guys. Let's mix it up. Oh, yeah, it's right up here. That's why I was looking around. All right, Jep the Rye. Yeah, no, Jep the Rye. I really like that Bullet 12. Okay, so let me grab my notebook here. And as I'm going through these, I'm going to talk about some of my other favorite things as far as a year in review here for 2024. Let's talk a little bit about some brands that I've recently discovered that I really love. You have brands, and I think the big question from a lot of folks is, what are the brands I should be looking for nowadays, especially when it comes to sourced brands, especially ones doing a lot of NGP. So I think the ones you need to be looking at right now are Dark Arts out of Lexington. They're doing absolutely incredible things. So Dark Arts doing some great stuff. Backbone is doing incredible stuff as well with NGP, with Source NGP. You also have, we've mentioned Barrel King a bunch of times, but Barrel King is definitely up there as far as the blending that they're doing, what Jared is doing down there. Matt from ADHD Whiskey is one of the blenders. They're just making incredible whiskeys. So Barrel King I would put up there. Nashville Barrel Company, not only they're sourcing different whiskeys, but they're also doing some interesting finishes with Kelvin barrels, maple barrels, and a bunch of other cool stuff that they're working on. Yes, is all this stuff a little bit more expensive than what you find on the shelf? Yes, it is. But the quality and the flavors that you get is well beyond a lot of stuff you're going to find on the shelf. I would still put Foregate up there. Even though Foregate's a $200 bourbon, they're doing these double finishes that really nobody else is doing. So I really like what they're doing. I think Ben Holiday you could throw up there as a newer brand that I discovered that I really love. We talked about Hard Truth. Two Soul Spirits, I could call them out right now, but I haven't had enough stuff from them yet to be like, oh, they're the ones you have to go with. But that rye that's in the blind here tonight is stellar. Yeah, Hard Truth I would put up there. I think Art of the Spirits is doing some great stuff as well. I mean, is 2024 the year people get over rare character? I think people are over the rare character prices a little bit because they're a lot for sure. But yeah, I would say, you know, you could kind of throw Cedar Ridge in that mix. Absolutely love what they're doing. 13 Colony, obviously, you know, has garnered a huge following, you know, whether you believe in all the shenanigans that happen with them or not. Fox and Odin has been one of those that kind of creeped up on my radar this year. As you guys know, absolutely love their double oaked. I'm not really quite sure about their other stuff. I love what Buzzard Roost is doing. And obviously K-Luke. K-Luke is one of those brands that have just continually shown how good they are at blending. Jonathan Maisano doing incredible things at K-Luke. There's just a lot of great people making some great whiskey. And I just think there's a lot out there to be had. So those are some of the brands that have really kind of latched onto just this past year. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody else. I think, oh my God, Corbin Cash. Corbin Cash is unbelievably good out of California. We're doing another pick with them, I think, next week, and I cannot wait to see what they're doing. But yeah, as far as like those MGP brands, guys, there's so much stuff. Sagamore, I think, is doing some incredible stuff, but we have to see what happens as, you know, with the new ownership. But Sagamore has always been absolutely on fire for sure. 13 Colony shenanigans, you know, people, you know, saying they color their whiskey, all that bullshit that went on that was completely unsubstantiated. So yeah. Jason, you get to try the Art of the Spirit cast strength finish in Weller barrels. I did not get to try that one, Tom. Yeah, we just did a Frey Ranch pick, and some of those Frey Ranch single barrels are absolutely stellar. So I love Frey Ranch. Actually, next week's What's on the Shelf Wednesday will be Frey Ranch, so you guys will see that. The only reason why I didn't do one this week because I want to get the Booker's review out tomorrow, and then that crazy quadruple base on Friday with Green River versus some other ones. So you guys will see that one. Oh yeah, how can I forget Evernorth? I think what the Bourbon Junkies are doing at Evernorth are it's amazing. I love that I love the whiskey that they're doing, the single barrels that I've gotten from them, and some of the blends that they've done have been absolutely stellar. I think they know what their followers like. They know what the whiskey they like, obviously, and I think that shows through in their brand. I have about 5 or 6 different Evernorth bottles, and all of them are pretty different, and I like that. I like that they're a little bit different. But the Bourbon Junkies Evernorth brand, I think, is one of those brands that, again, gets it. They have built a community around the brand, just like what Barrel King is doing. I think National Barrel Company, you could say kind of same thing what they're doing, and have built something. And, you know, cheers to Dan and Sean. I don't get to talk to those guys too much, but if they do happen to catch this, or if anybody, just send this snippet to them and just let them know how incredible I think that their stuff is, what they're doing, how incredibly proud, because it motivates me to create something really special when I'm working on personally. So I think what they're doing is incredible. So it's only the up and up for Evernorth, and I think all their whiskeys that I've had have been so completely different, and I think that's what I love about it. So, yeah, good stuff coming from everybody. Yep. Oh, yeah, Raconteur Rye. I thought that was actually a really good release, too. I don't think it was as good as these, but I thought it was really good. So, Sergeant Giggs. Oh, yeah, no, Sergeant Giggs, I love 13 Colony. I just think a lot of the unwarranted bullshit that they got that's what it was bullshit. All right, let's go through this rye flight quickly here, and then we'll see. We'll get in some bourbons. But yeah, as far as 2024, I will say this: I think the best is yet to come. I don't think we've hit that upper echelon of releases quite yet. So we'll see what happens. Am I a little bit disappointed in the first half of the year? I think for the most part I am. There hasn't been a whiskey or a bourbon that has stood out. Let me rephrase that. There hasn't been a premium whiskey other than this one that has stood out that's worth the hype. Heaven Hill 18, I thought, was a okay release. Some of the other ones that have come out, Blood Oath was good. I don't think it was great. But I thought it was worth the pickup because it's probably one of the better ones I've had in a couple years. Let's not forget about the Traveler, how good that shit was. Sorry, I can't give a straight face saying that. Yeah. Interested to know what people think of Templeton Midnight Rye. It's a rye mixed with port wine, a great taste profile. Low carb cocktails. Is there literally port wine mixed into it? Because if that's what it is, then that's like some Basil Hayden shit. That's what Basil Hayden does with that one that they do. So, what's your opinion about using spirals in bottles to add flavor? I think it's a marketing gimmick. I don't think it does shit. It may do shit over a very long period of time, but I think it's a marketing gimmick. What about the Ben Holiday Bourbon Lore? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that bottle. I thought that was a really good blend. We'll have to see how that does in another blind tasting at the time. But, yeah, that's actually a good reminder. I totally forgot about that one. The year of single barrel picks, in my opinion, Middle West, Hard Truth, NBC, Dark Heart, some of the best part. Yeah, absolutely, Whiskey Tornado. And that goes to my next point. I think it's really has been, for me personally, the year of the single barrels. Barrels for Hope, Bourbon Junkies, Matt, ADHD Whiskey, some local places in Kentucky that I know that do amazing picks, some local places here in Ohio that I know that do amazing picks, my own picks. It has been, for me, the first half of 2024 has been summed up of the year of the incredible single barrels. And those have been the whiskeys that have garnered my attention. Not really a lot of these other high-priced, rare releases from these big brands. It's just they haven't manifested itself yet to be anything incredible, unfortunately. So, yeah, rare bird picks on top of that one, too. You can mix Travelers with Crown Blackberry and paint your girlfriend's nails with it. What? Oh, man. Oh, yeah, New Holland Dragon's Mine. I think that's actually a great one, too. No Stag in 24 yet? Yeah, not for me. Yeah, but I can get any of those picks. Yeah, but Tim Roby, yeah, but I can't get any. Did you mean to say can't? Rare Bird had a pair of Jack Daniels Barrel Proof Rye picks, and I got the one Asia Coy Hill dense as. Oh yeah, we have two that we're releasing soon. Well, one's releasing Friday. Oh, can't. Well, Tim Roby, I mean, that depends on. Yeah, single barrel picks are obviously based on what groups you're in, what groups you're willing to pay to get into. I totally get that. But if you can't get those picks, that's what tonight's blind is about. Some of the bottles that have impressed me this year. So we'll get into that one. CJ Miller, I haven't tried Larceny B524 yet, so I don't know. Man. This first one smells like straight up rye bread. Straight up rye bread. Number 2 is rye bread with a little bit of like Nutella hazelnut on it. That's kind of nice. Let's go to 3. Oh, 3 is super dense, super sweet, minty. That's nice. What's up, Jake Anderson? Jake, I go for at least 2 hours every Wednesday night. So, the Old Forester President's Choice releases are single barrels. Yes, they are. All right, yeah, these two here. Oh man, what is that one? That one is super dense. These 3 here, at least on the nose, are the hitters. All right, let's try these. Let me go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Copper and Cask is actually a good call out too. Oh wow. I said rye bread on here, but it's actually coming across as a really nice just overall profile from front to back. Little bit of sweetness there. You get the mint. You get some spice, a little bit of star anise there. Yeah, I can't wait to try this Little Book 8. I should have it here in the next couple days. So it's a little light on the finish, but I love the front of the palate here. That's great. All right, let's go to this one here. I love Old Forester 100 proof. I have, but not opened yet, the 1910 and 1920. It says low carb cocktails. So yeah, the Old Forester 100 proof single barrels are great. If you're talking about the single, or if you're talking about the signature is good. 1910 and 1920 are two completely different animals. All I'm going to tell you is after you try them low carb cocktails is to blend them. Blend them equal. Blend 1910 and 1920. Make a 1915. It's pretty magical. Do you ever get eucalyptus off of a rye? I have gotten that before. Wow, 2 is actually really light. I like 1 over 2. 2 is a little bit more citrusy. Really nice flavors up front, though. Again, similar to 1, but I think 1 is a little bit more dense. Let's go to 3. Crazy game right now. Mavs are going to give me a heart attack. Yeah, what's happening right now? Are the Mavs winning? Please tell me the Mavs are winning this game. Jesus. Woodford Reserve, double oak, 75 for 370. Buy or pass. That is a hard pass, Robert. This is really good. Caramel. A lot of vanilla. This is coming off to me like maybe one of the Michters. That thing is really good. Getting a little coffee bean there, too. I wonder if that's the 10-year. 93.90 Boston? Oh, my God. Come on. Cushman, I think Art of the Spirits is definitely worth exploring. They have some really, really good finish. I would put Art of the Spirits right up there with Dark Arts, which is pretty funny because both of them have arts in it. But Dark Arts, what they're doing, Art of the Spirits, what they're doing, I think they're just, both of them are doing some really unique whiskeys. I think both of them are worth checking out. Oh. 4 is the most floral, easily. Very floral. It is floral. It is sweet. Has a huge punch of flavor here. That one's good. I like that a lot. Wow, a lot of vanilla on there too. That's good. All right, last one. Wow. Number 5 is Bring in the Thunder. Gosh, that has a little bit of a licorice note to it. However, it does kind of hit you with some really interesting. There's a really big punch of oak happening too. What Dark Arts batch should I be on the lookout for? It's hard because they do a lot of picks, but I would highly recommend the French oak. That French oak one that they did is really, really good. I would go with the French oak. K. Luke Toasted Batch 2, Tyler loves. I'm not a big toasted guy, so yeah, I mean, yeah. Screw you, Darrell, and your Let's Go Boston. Come on, Dallas, pull it out. All right. Wow. This is tough. All right, so really quick, I think I liked 1 more than 2. Yeah, this is really good. Really good. I think 2 is a little too light. Yeah, 2 is really light. 2 might be my last place because of how light it is. Let me get some water here as I go through these. Has there ever been a Coy Hill Rye? Not yet, but I would not be surprised if we see one soon. Wink, wink. Three, this is delicious. 3 is so good. Do I like 3 over 1? Yes. That one goes there. All right, let's go to this one. Those are the light one, right? All right. These two are so close. This one's a little sweeter. This one has a little bit more of a... I like the oak punch in this one. I think I'm going to go with this. I think this is my... But... Holy crap, that one's really good. I don't know. That's tough, guys. Well, let's see. This one was clearly the weakest one for me. Giselle's Boston, screw the Celtics. They blow it every year. This is letter D. Let's go into the key here. See what we get, because we got to dive into the bourbon tasting. So let's go through here. So letter D belongs to the, not surprising, the Bullet 12-year goes to the D. So the Bullet 12-year is my last place bottle. Not surprising. I just think against some of these other ones, it just loses itself here in the shuffle, just because of how low the proof is. But honestly, this Bullet 12 is still a stellar rye for the money. Excuse me, 12 years old, $60. It's really, really good. These 4, these are all really close. These 2 are kind of mix and match. I don't even know which one to go with. I think this one, yeah, that's the floral one. This is letter A. And let's see. Letter A goes to... Really? This is the Michter's Barrel Proof. Holy shit. Michter's Barrel Proof giving me some floral vibes. Getting 4th in this blind tasting. Crazy. Okay. Now we're getting that. This is exciting now. All right. Letter E, which is in 3rd place. This is the Old Overholt. Old Overholt getting all the way to 3rd. Absolutely love this, which means it's between the Michter's 10-year and the friggin' 2 Souls. C and B. There you go. B goes to the 2 Soul Spirits from right here, the Middle West. So the 2 Soul Spirits taking out some bangers tonight, which makes me very happy. And then we have the Michter's 10-year coming in here. And, sorry, guys. Sorry if that was loud. And the Michter's 10-year coming in here at 1st place. Obviously, the better value is the 2 Souls if you were able to get one. But, yeah, the Michter's 10-year just was a little bit too developed, I think, in flavor profile to get after it. But this Old Overholt Cast Strength 10-year, another great rye whiskey. Shoot. Really good stuff. The fact that Bullet 12 wasn't cursed like Steve Bartman at Wrigley is a win. Yeah, the K-Luke is taking it in the face tonight, unfortunately. So, all right, so we did our bullet, not a bullet, but our rye blind tasting here with Michter's 10-year rye coming in on 1st, and 2 Souls coming in at 2nd place, which I thought was really cool. Old Overholt coming in at 3rd. Then we had Bullet coming in last, but the Michter's Barrel Proof coming in 4th place, which was a big surprise. All right, let's get into the bourbon tasting here real quick. And we're going to pull these all in, and let's see what happens here. So I have 6 of these in here tonight. And yep, we're going to taste each and every one of these guys. I know I'm crazy, but I did want to do this with you guys, so we'll see what happens. We still have about 400 people watching. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out tonight. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. And we're going to go ahead. Let's see how we do it. I recently grabbed a bottle of Michter's Sour Mash. Yeah, that's a pretty low proof. Cy Doncic's call. Does that mean he got a call? Am I the only one who doesn't like anything Michter's? Wasn't able to get the Michter's barrel strength. Surprised the Michter's 10-year ride did so well. Me too, Terrence. I actually am surprised it did that well. All right. So these are the bourbons. So in here mixed tonight, we have the 4-gate Kelvin Collab 6, the Old Fitz 13, the New Riff 8-year. So that's 3 of them. We also have the Old Forester 1924. We have the K-Luke batch number 8, the one I've been knocking around all night. Cast strength. We also have the James E. Pepper decanter bottle, which is one of my favorite bourbons this year. And what's the last bottle we have here? I don't even remember. Did I put the Elijah Craig B524? I don't even remember what I put in here. It's been kind of set this up a while back. I guess we'll find out. But we have some, pretty good bourbons in the mix tonight. So is that New Riff's oldest age statement that just came out? They do have a 9-year that I've gotten to try that's actually really stellar. But as far as a wide release, I think that 8-year is the oldest one. Session Stout says would pass on all of it. All of what? New Riff, K-Luke, James Pepper, Old Fitz, 4-gate, 1924. Okay, I did name 6. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got. I'm with you. The Michter's upper level bottles are just sweet, not complex, and overpriced in my humble opinion, says Diego G. I hope the Kelvin 6 does well. No new shoes for the kid after that purchase. Oh, you guys want to see what I'm rocking tonight? Check this out. This is my first. The Raconteur Rye wasn't in the blind tasting, Kevin. So, but I think the Raconteur Rye would have beat that one out. So this is my first ever whiskey sneaker trade, which is really cool. And I got these. These are the Travis Scott Dark Mochas, low OGs. This is a pair I've been after for the last couple years, and I finally now own a pair. And yeah, I'm breaking them in tonight. I wanted to wear them. I love them. So, yep. Jeremy Hughes, the James Pepper decanter did have different batches. So I don't know if you got one of the more bum batches. I guess we'll see. So you're a fan of neutral colors with a red accent. Yeah, red's my favorite color. If nobody knows, red is my favorite color. All right, let's get into this one. Black Bourbon family, what did you trade for those shoes? An Elijah Craig barrel-proof pirate bottle, one of my most legendary barrel picks of all time. Mavs down 2 with 120 to go. Bum batches, yeah. All right, let's go through these. Nose on this one's pretty light. Not getting a lot. I'm just going to start tasting these guys. I'm just going to dive in here. Let me get some water here first. I'm not going to nose all these. This is really based off of flavor. Will we ever get a sneaker collection vid? I don't really have a ridiculous amount of sneakers like you guys might think I do. But, I mean, I don't know. I could. But I don't think for like most sneakerheads it would really be that impressive. I have some very like select sneakers that I have, but yeah. Speaking of trades, what did you trade for the Old Fitz 13? I traded a Colonel Taylor barrel proof, a Michter's toasted barrel strength rye, and then I threw in some cash on top of that. So that's what I traded. And the guy took it. What's the laser code on that shoe? Shit. All right. One is very sweet, very viscous. Wow, that's really good. Holy shit. Which one is that? It's literally like drinking syrup. That is really good, the first one. Is that the Old Fitz? Wow. I'm literally just writing wow. That's good. All right, let's go to number 2 here. All right, guys, we're 10:55. What do we got? Question of the day? What do we want? Yeah, what are you doing top 5 tonight? Session style, since you asked. Give me a top 5. What do you guys got? Wow, 2 is light. 2 is very light, very thin. Not super impressed coming off of 1. I think it's better than the 17-year Brian S. for personally. And I love the 17-year. It's light. Oh man, that's good though. It's sweet. Got a little bit of a, oh, that's good. Jason's sneaker collection book, Warehouse EE, the definitive guide to size 9.5. Hey man, I'm a 10.5. Top 5 childhood Christmas gifts. I like that one. Let's do that. Top 5 Boston Celtics. No, they would just all be Larry Bird. Top 5 Christmas gifts ever. I like, even though we're not near Christmas. I do like that question. Top 5 Christmas gifts. All right, let's do that. Because I could definitely think of. I already know my number 1, so that's easy. I don't know. 2 is really light. Almost too light. Coming off of 1, 2 it could just be the spot it's in, but 2 is just Session Stouts. Top 5 bottles you wish you had, just because you were the first to go through that. I'll call out a few. These are in no particular order. I do wish I had a Weller Gold Vein bottle. The Weller, the antique Gold Vein. I wish I had one of those. I wish I had a Booker's Rye again. The one I had, I drank, I shared, and it's gone. I do wish I had another Booker's Rye. So that's 2. Third bottle would be... trying to think of what I don't have that I would want. A bottle of Pappy 15. That's probably the one Pappy I would like to own and buy at a reasonable price is a Pappy 15. I think that's the best one of the 3. Would like to own one of those. I don't have an Old Rip 10. I don't have a Lot B. I don't have anything in that whole Van Winkle lineup at all. But if I could own one of them, it would be the 15. So I would like to own a Pappy 15. That would be my third one. Fourth, I'd probably go with Weller Millennium. I'm only kidding. No Weller Millennium. That's funny shit. Number 4, man, what would that be? I've had Lot B. I've had all the Pappies. I've had the Old Rip. They're all relatively average, but Pappy 15 I think is the best one of the lot. So I would like to have one of those for sure. Man, what else? Man, I thought I had like 2 others in the hopper there. As far as a bottle I would like to own. I think the Gold Vein and the Booker's Rye are probably like my top 2 I would love to get my hands on, to be honest. Those 2 are bottles I would love to own, but I just haven't gotten to it quite yet. Dusty Turkey, Booker's Rye, King Kentucky. Yep, I could see that. Turkey from the 90s. Thoughts on the Winkle Estate Rye? I think it's a good rye, but I don't think it's anything super special, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, I think the number 1 bottle would be a Red Hook Rye, and that would probably that bottle's unattainable, and it's like $20,000 for that bottle. But a Red Hook Rye would be an amazing bottle to own. And then my second bottle would probably be, I'm going to call it a set. I would probably want all the Old Crow Chessmen, you know, the whole set, so I could play the game. You know what I mean? That would probably be my top 5. So there you go. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3 is pretty nice. Number 3 is heavy cinnamon, baking spices, a little bit of chocolate there. That's pretty good. I think I like number 3 over number 2, but number 1, it's still the leader in the clubhouse for sure. All right, let's go to number 4. Oh man, number 4 smells incredible. No Train on the list. Yeah, no Train on the list. 106.99 Boston. Oh, for fuck's sake. That sucks. Okay, so top 5 Christmas gifts. Number 5. And it wasn't just the Christmas gift itself, but it was, well, I don't know if I would do that number 5. That actually might be number 2. I know number 1, I know number 2. What would 3, 4, and 5 be? This is like taking me back to my childhood. This is awesome. I know 3. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What would 4 and 5 be? I'm trying to think back to my Christmas gifts. Oh, I remember 4. 5. What would 5 be, though? 5 was... my mom gave me so many incredible Christmas gifts growing up. Damn. Okay, I got it. All right, so I have my top 5. Number 5 was the first drum I ever got was a snare drum. It wasn't a drum set. It was a snare drum I got. That was number 5. It was the first drum I ever got as a kid. Got to play it. Loved it. It was really cool. That was my first. I would put that as number 5. Number 4, Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis as a Christmas gift was unfucking believable. When I got that gift, I went crazy. Sega Genesis with a couple games I think I got that year. That was insane. So, snare drum number 5, Sega Genesis number 4. Because all my friends were Nintendo heads. I was the only one that had Sega. So, Sega Genesis number 4 was probably it. Number 3. Number 3 goes to, excuse me, another video game thing, but do you guys remember TurboGrafx 16? You guys remember that system with the Bonk's Adventure, Slaughterhouse, like those games? So way back when, there was a handheld TurboGrafx 16, kind of like a Game Boy version of TurboGrafx 16, and it was, my mom got me that handheld version of Turbo. I never had the full system, but I did have the handheld version of it. And when I got that, I went crazy. That thing was amazing. When I got that gift for sure. Number 2. You know what? Can I add one? Let's go number 6. Number 6 was the snare drum. Number 5 was the let's go number 5 being the Sega Genesis. Number 4 being the TurboGrafx 16. Number 3, I got Optimus Prime Transformer as a gift. The Optimus Prime. When I got that gift, holy shit. That was the gift. When I opened the present and I saw the trailer and the red truck, oh my God, I went crazy for that one. So that was I'll say that's number 3. Number 2 is easy. 2 and 1 are very easy. Number 2, you guys know I'm an Atlanta Falcon fan, very weirdly. I love Deion Sanders. So I open up all my gifts, done with opening everything in the tree. I go to sit at the table to eat breakfast, and my mom takes she gives me a Honey Nut Cheerios box to eat for breakfast. Done opening all my gifts. I'm a little disappointed because I didn't get this one thing. So she hands me a box of Honey Nut Cheerios. She goes, "Jay, have some Honey Nut Cheerios. You want some? So you don't want any? I didn't want pancakes. I don't want anything. I was too excited for all my gifts." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So I pour the box, and the box seems weird. I pour the box, and out slides the Atlanta Falcon authentic Deion Sanders jersey right into my bowl. And I fucking lost it. That was one of the coolest things my mom ever did for me for Christmas. I got that jersey, and I was all about it. So yeah, it came out, and I put it on. I had the Deion jersey. I don't think I took that jersey off for like 2 weeks. That was pretty cool. And then my number 1 gift was my first drum set, which was easy. That was an easy one. When I woke up that morning, I went out to the tree. I went out to the Christmas tree, and there was just a giant sheet covering a bunch of stuff, and I knew it was a drum set. And that was my number 1 gift. So there you go. JG, how tiny of a kid were you? I don't know. I was a kid. What does that mean? Hope you didn't pour the milk first. Yeah, no. I poured the milk second, thank goodness. Top 5 franchises you'd want to have season tickets to. I don't know. All the teams that I follow just break my heart, so I don't want to fucking buy shit to anybody. Oh my God. Number 4. Ridiculous. That is buttery, sweet. Oh my God, so much vanilla extract on that. 1 and 4 are the leaders here. All right, let's go to 5. Wasn't Neon Deion traded to Dallas? Well, he went to San Francisco first. Then he went to Dallas. Then not many people remember. Do you remember that Deion Sanders he played, I think, 1 year in Baltimore? He played 1 year in Baltimore, I think. Wow. Oh, 5 is really stupid good too. Very cherry in 5. All right, there's some standouts here, guys. Last one. Number 1 gift became your channel's namesake. Absolutely. Number 5 has some chutzpah to it. All right. So 2 and 3, I think, are really on the light side. They're not really doing much for me here. So let's try to discern these 2. Wow, this one's coming off like maple syrup on the nose. I'm gonna say maple syrup here. I think I like 2 over 3, to be honest. All right. So 2, these are going to be my bottom 2. So I'll have 2 at 5th place, and 3 will be my 6th place, even though I do smell maple syrup here. So 5 and 6 go here. But these 4, these are good. This is going to be tough. 1 just smells and tastes so good. Slatvon, when is the collab with Cam to have a drums and drum top 5 drums video? I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. Okay. Gosh, 4 is so good. I love 4 a lot. Five is very cherry. Gosh. 1 and 4 are right there. 6. Man. Well, 2 and 3 are here. So this is 1, 4, 5, 6. So which one do I like between 4, 1? I think I like 4 over 1 a little bit. And these I think will round out the other 2. This one's a little bit more grainy, a little bit of a youthful note in this one, which is interesting. Which one would that be? Is that the new riff? Yeah. Let's keep it right here. All right, let's do the reveal. See what we got, guys. Here we go. Last place in this blind went to letter A. And guess what? That's the James E. Pepper. James E. Pepper. This is what I was a little bit of afraid that was going to happen. Because once this, you put it in a blind with some other stuff, the youthful note comes through. So, top 5 songs to jam out to on the drums, other than In the Air Tonight. Yeah, Tom Sawyer. My gosh. I mean, I could probably name 3 or 4 different Rush songs, Tool songs, Pearl Jam. Yeah, I mean. So number 5 goes to the James E. Pepper. The youthfulness shows through in the James E. Pepper. So, what batch is this one? This is batch number 6. This is batch 6. If anybody's wondering. All right, let's see what got 5th place here. Letter B. Letter B goes to the new riff. The new riff 8-year gets letter B. This is kind of going in a way where I actually thought the new riff would do a little bit better, though. But that big cherry note that I wrote down here is going to the new riff. So new riff 8-year. 4th place goes to letter E. And this is, that's good. A little bit of a chord note there too. And that is the K. Luke batch 8. K. Luke batch 8 cast strength gets 3rd place. So there you go. This is kind of the old Forester, 1924, making the top 3 somewhere. That's a little bit of a surprise. Let's go to 3rd place. Well, guess what? Letter D goes to the Old Forester 1924. Old Forester 1920. Wait, did I do that one? Yeah, letter D is, yeah, I'm sorry. This one. That goes to the 1924. Old Fitz. So Old Fitz, not Old Fitz. Old Forester 1924 gets 4th place here. So a little bit of again, I just think that, I mean, it's good, but yeah, something about it is just missing a little bit. So there you go. So top 3, we have the Kelvin collab the Old Fitz, and we have the what's the third one here? The oh no, that was the K Luke. What am I talking about? We did do third place. Shit, what am I talking about? D is the D. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm drinking too much here. Yes, this one is the Old Forester 1924, which is third place. Yeah, I'm so confused. Sorry, Nathan. I totally fucked that up. Last place, James E. Pepper. Fourth place is the New Riff. Fourth place goes to the K Luke. Now into third place. Third place was the Old Forester. So it's between the Old Fitz and the 4-gate for 1 and 2, which makes sense, to be honest. So let's see which one won. C and F. C goes to... It's kind of a surprise because I thought this one would win. The Old Fitz gets second place. First place, I gave it to the 4-gate. Shit. The 4-gate Kelvin Collab 6 for me got, and this is a new bottle. This one got first place for me. Holy shit. Wow. I am as surprised as you are. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that kind of blew my mind. Joe the Sambo Guy says he nailed it. 4-gate neck pour takes down the Old Forester, Old Fitz 13. Yeah. I'm guessing it's that Madeira. It was super. Everyone fillets the Old Fitz. Yeah, dude, the Old Fitz is. I mean, the Old Fitz is really good. Yeah, the fact that this is a neck pour and it won, that's a little bit nuts. I don't know. I think the viscosity of the 4-gate, and remember, this is 115.6 proof versus the 100. Even though how much I love the Old Fitz, that 4-gate fucking killed it. So, guess you answered my 4-gate versus Amrud question. I definitely need. So the 4-gate is $400. The 4-gate is $200. The Old Fitz is gone. So if you find it, I wouldn't be surprised if you see it at like $900. Unfortunately, so no, the Old Fitz is not a pass. The Old Fitz is going to end up as a top 5 bourbon for me this year. I'm telling you, it's that good. These two were really close. I think the proof helped the 4-gate a little bit, but this Old Fitz I absolutely love. So I'm still glad I got a bottle. And with that, Jason Covey, you know what? When I first reviewed the 4-gate, I wasn't that crazy about it, to be honest. But in this blind, it did really, really well. I don't know. Man, whiskey's crazy sometimes, guys. I'm just saying. The top 2 ended up being my top 2, but I really thought the Old Fitz would be my number 1, to be honest. So we'll see what happens, guys. There's a lot of bourbon releases coming, including, remember, Russell's 15. Oh, my God. There's so much stuff coming out. We'll see how the birthday bourbon does. I'm sure K Luke will have a couple more releases coming out soon, so we'll see what happens. But with that said, guys, a surprising result, and that's why you do blinds. But for me, the 4-gate won out tonight, which is interesting. So, yeah, JD14 too. Who knows how good that shit's going to be. So with that said, like I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight and showing me all the support. Tune in next week. I will have a special guest in studio. We'll do a little bit of a fun blind tasting, I think, and we'll see how that goes. So tune in next week, find out who it is. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey. It's the people you share with. Cheers. If you're a patron, going to be doing a live after party here, guys. So we'll see you soon. Love you guys. So cheers. See you next week.